mastering time. You guys are here for a really interesting part of the process here because this is a different mastering chain, but I think it's the simplest one I can come up with. That sounds good, like really good. So let me tell you the reasoning behind the plugin chain. So we'll start first, of course, with the Shadow Hills mastering compressor. Now, I'm using this for its tone mostly, not because it's gluing anything. I mean, it will. I'm going to use it for a little bit because I already have glue, from the SSL bus compressor, but I'm really doing it for tone. I just like the way that tones go through this compressor and they sound good. You don't even have to even mess with anything. You just put this on here. If you don't want to use this or you don't have it, you could put a tape machine plugin here in its place, like Slate Virtual Tape Machine or whatever your favorite tape machine is. But basically, it's coloring. And I mean, that mix was already had some color because it was I used analog emulations. I used an SSL console workflow and sound. But SSLs were always supposed to be somewhat clean. Even the old ones, even though they do have a little color, they were still supposed to be pretty clean. So I'm going to add a little bit more color, a little bit more character. Then we're going to use Master Desk. Another viewer was talking about, what about Master Desk? You still feeling that? And I go, yeah, I still am. But I wanted to try the other things. I'd learn a little bit more about Master Desk. Apparently this foundation knob is a Bax EQ. So I was like, well, I don't need this anymore then, which is the Baxandall EQ right here. That's basically what because you're just rebalancing with the Bax EQ. So I don't have to use this now, which sucks because I just bought it, but it is what it is. I didn't know, so we have a limiter on this. I like to turn that on, limiter turbo. Gives you a little bit of 0.2 dB output trim. So, if anything kind of pushes past that a little bit, I mean, it's not going to clip. So that's a nice thing. And that's it. But also we got to be able to hear we got to be able to visualize a little bit what's going on. So I am going to throw a tonal balance control on this. So this is for my metering, right? This is the curve that at least everything in the 90s stayed to. So, I mean, it's a pretty good curve. I'm going to go with that. And then we're going to use this Wave Candy. It's an FL Studio plugin, stock plugin for an RMS meter. Now, I've learned this. If you get -9 RMS on this meter, you're hitting -12 LUFS, right? If you try to get -8 LUFS, I think -8 RMS and -8 LUFS are the same. But if you push up higher to like -7 here, then you're going to be like -6 or something LUFS. I don't know, but it seems like it all meets at -8. So if you wanted to push to -8 here, you should theoretically be getting similar or very close to -8 LUFS. But that's too fucking loud to me, in my opinion. Okay, guys? -6 RMS is just tragically loud to me. Maybe -6 is it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's -6, but -9 RMS here is equivalent to -12 LUFS, which is perfect in my opinion. That's like everything, all the records that you liked from the 90s are mastered to that loudness. I'm talking about Bone Thugs East 1999. Was that a Quiet album? I don't think so. Right? Chronic, Doggy Style, you name it. Above the Rim soundtrack. I don't know. That's just a few that come off the top of my head that have good sonics. That was about the loudness that everybody was going for at that time. If you went past that, they kind of felt like you were starting to squash, you were starting to take things away in order to get loudness. So in this case, that's what we're going to aim for today. So, I know it's a drill beat, and they probably like things much louder, but we're going to bring it up to 90 standard and call it a day. So let's get it. Oops, hold on, there's a couple more things. Now this is just for me, this is for my monitoring. Because, I can't monitor in this fucking room. I can't mix or master in this room, right? So I need a room, right? A good one. So I'm going to go with real phones. Let me, but I'll turn that off at the end, of course. There's my room emulation. Set it to my headphones. I'm going to go with Flat Studio Mid. That should be balanced and flat. That gives me something to work with. I should be able to hear things pretty accurately with this. So, okay, let's go. Okay, I think that's it. It's mastered. Um, Sounds really good on everything I checked it on. So now we'll just listen to it, the audio file now without the room emulation, and everything should check out according to my adjustments. It's not having a perfect curve in the middle on tonal balance control because this has no vocals. So and it's a beat and it's pretty empty, right? So there's like drums, there's bass, there's like a piano, and that's really about it. So there's a lot of elements that are not there to get a perfect tonal balance, but I kept it within the perimeters so that then at least what we do have should theoretically sound pretty decent on pretty much everything we play it on. On Master Desk, I found out that the foundation button, like I said, is a Baxendale EQ. I'm not sure about what this tone is, if that's a Bax EQ or another type of EQ, but it sounds good. I keep it on number one. That compressor tends to have more thump, has more bottom end than the others, so I like to keep it on that one. I put a resonance filter because I saw on tonal balance control there were problems somewhere close to 66, getting around 7,000 or whatnot, and I figured notching that out would help bring things into balance a little better. Of course, the bass, of course, was there was a lot of bass, and I wanted to take down on that bass. I guess the one last thing is I need to check to make sure if it's still hitting -9. If not, I'm going to adjust the volume knob just one last go at it. We'll do it while we're listening to it. So here we go. Okay, I think that'll work. I'm gonna go ahead and make a MP3 of this just to listen to off camera. But yeah, so I feel like a lot of drill music and stuff like that. They're very flat sounding. This definitely does not sound flat now. This has a lot of space. I had a viewer at one time say something to the degree of this ain't the '90s, this ain't the '80s anymore, or whatever. We don't do things that way. Well, I said that's why everything sounds like shit, right? And now I think that I could probably listen to a drill song if it were mixed and mastered this way. Because I mean, it's this stuff is really, it's really pokey, you know, like the way that they have those sounds, they really poke, you know, like the kick drum pokes and the little hats and stuff, they're really pokey sounding, but it's cool, right? It's cool. And on, you know, I'm doing this on headphones. I know in speakers it sounds probably even nicer, but with the headphones it sounded good in here too. And of course in the virtual mix rooms, and virtual room, you know, the room emulation and environments and stuff that I was testing it in, it sounded like the mix held up well on the other, you know, pretty much on anything you play it on. So, but like I said, it is really pokey, but that's okay. We brought that out. That's the whole point. It's got, so it's kind of dynamic, but there's definitely plenty of compression going on, and we're getting good tones. There's good harmonics on that, and overall, I think it sounds pretty good. Now, bear in mind, when you watch my videos, nothing is loud on my videos. So you have to turn things up because that's the way it is on my videos. Probably also the way that the levels that I record the video at are probably going to be lower than, like, say, something you play when you hit the explore button and you go listen to something, you know, some music on another channel. But know that if when you try this method and then you hear it in person, it's going to be louder than probably how you're hearing it on YouTube. So, because it's playing loud, you see the meters, that's loud, right? So I'm telling you, it's going to be loud. This is not quiet by any means. The video might make it sound a little quiet, but when you do this in person, it will be louder. Bear in mind too that there is signal processing that I have already going on in OBS Studio as well, which is the software I use to make the videos. Like I have a Slate Virtual Mix Rack over my microphone here with a plug-in chain on that, and then of course there is a U73 broadcast compressor over the entire everything else, right? So you're not actually really hearing this truly perfectly the way that I'm hearing it, because in order to prevent unpleasantness happening in the video, there's a U73 broadcast compressor barely kissing the sound, basically. It's kind of controlling it over this overall, you know, over the overall sound here for the entire video. So just know that those things are in place when you're listening to this, but should sound good even in the video. So anyhow, if you guys like my videos, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment. I will try to respond as soon as I can. It's not like right at the second, but I try to respond within the same day usually to any of your comments. And feel free to ask me questions, you know, that are reasonable questions, mind you. Trolling is not allowed on my channel. Troll me and you're gone. That's just simple as that. If you go ahead and try if you want. But I don't tolerate trolling on my channel. I get rid of people who do that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. You guys be good. It's your boy Vigilante Styles. I'm gonna go do something else now. All right, peace.